Welcome to the Parlay Giveaway. I'm your host, Joe Cortez. Episode 4, we're going to recap ESPN card in Brazil, Blachowicz versus Jacare, and we're going to get into other bets going forward for the next couple of weeks. All right, so last week our bet got busted right off the bat. Marcus Perez couldn't seal the deal against Wellington Turman in the first fight in the main card. Marcus Perez coming out with the ill Joker makeup, costume, wig, whatever you want to call it during weigh-ins. I was feeling confident for him. I was like, yes, we're going to win this fight. But turns out no. Turns out not so much. Turns out Marcus Perez couldn't seal the deal, and the judges gave Wellington Turman the nod. So we lost that one, and it's the first fight of the main card, the first fight in our parlay bet, which kind of puts a damper on the night, you know. But hey, that's the rules. That's the game. The parlay. That's the parlay fucking game right there. You're not gonna hit them all. You're not gonna hit them. You're not gonna hit most of them, especially when it comes to what? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had five fight parlay. So it got busted on the first one. Is what it is. But I do want to touch on a couple of things here. The 155, you better watch out for Charlie Oliveira. You better watch out for that motherfucker, man, because he brought the heat. Now, who's his next opponent? I would like to see Charlie Oliveira versus Kevin Lee. I mean, because he fights at Oliveira, right? Dos Bronx. He fights at, I believe he fights at 155. Yeah, Nicky Lenz, Jared Gordon. Yeah, 155. So, Charlie Oliveira, Kevin Lee, that's the next fight. I hope it happens. That would be an insane fight. Let's give Charlie Oliveira the fucking, the fight that he deserves. Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig. Shogun's always going to be Shogun to me. I'm not going to talk shit on the legend in the sport. I was more impressed with Paul Craig and his striking. This is a jiu-jitsu guy who decided to, say, hey, fuck it, I'll try MMA, and he's done the damn thing. He's hanging in there, He's hanging in there in the UFC. So good on him. And this should be a lesson to anybody who looks up to whoever it is. You look up to somebody who's a legend, or even, let's say it's in your workplace. Don't give that person too much credit. Don't be a dick rider. Paul Craig didn't know who the fuck Shogun is, and he was able to bring the fight to him. I'm sure he was like, yeah, whatever. I guess he's a legend in the sport, but he wasn't really an MMA fan, Paul Craig. So he didn't care. He didn't care who Shogun Rua is. And it showed. Like, he wasn't starstruck. He wasn't in the octagon like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm fighting Shogun. Which, that could happen. Especially if you're in your little world, and let's say you're wrestling and you have a wrestling tournament that's coming up, and everybody knows the number 1 seed, but you're the number 4 seed, and you're meeting this motherfucker in the finals now. Don't give that number 1 seed too much credit. You're in there, take his spirit away. And that's what Paul Craig did. He went in there and he pushed the fight. I wasn't the best fight to watch. I didn't like Paul Craig's plan, his strategy going in the second and third round. I would have gave Shogun the fight just because you can't pull guard, or you can't, in MMA you can't and then do nothing. But it just looks like Shogun's gonna be is setting the tone of the fight if you're pulling guard. He almost swept him. It's whatever. Wasn't the greatest fight. Wasn't the greatest card. So, but I was impressed with Paul Craig just bringing the fight to him, especially in that first round. Didn't give a fuck about Shogun and his legend status within the UFC and MMA community. He just brought the fight to him. Jan Blachowicz versus Jacare. Jacare, hesitant, as he should be. Blachowicz. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, so I apologize. He's just a scary motherfucker to fight. Is he ever going to be champ? I don't know, but he did get the nod. He did get the win. He welcomes the middleweight. He welcomes the 185ers to 205 to light heavyweight And then he says, no more for you, huh? He just drops the hammer on these guys. And Jacare losing to Jan Blachowicz, it's not devastating. He didn't lose like how Luke Rockhold lost, where he got knocked the fuck out. He went the distance, and, it was his first fight at light heavyweight. We see where he goes, Jacare. But Jan, just another one, just another check mark. I think, you can't deny him a title fight in the future. Like if Dominic Reyes and John Jones gets made. I don't know if it's made yet. And Dominic Reyes gets hurt. Can't be mad if Blachowicz fills in that spot. Can't be mad. He's a stud. He's had some excellent wins in the past, and Jacare is just another one. So, just excellent fighter. He did what he needed to do. He had his wrestling defense on point. He didn't let Jacare use his jiu-jitsu, and that's it. Won the fight. He did enough to win the fight. So that was that card. Busted our parlay on the first fight. Like I said, good riddance, UFC Brazil. Now, there's a little dilemma here. I like to bet these UFC cards, but there's not going to be another fight for 3 weeks. I think until December 7th. So, we're going to fuck around with the NFL a little bit, y'all. And I'm excited to do this. I should be doing it every weekend as long as there's NFL games being played. I should be making at least a 3-team parlay bet for you people, for my followers, just giving you another contest to join in and be interested in. So what we're going to do is actually, for this next weekend, being that there's no UFC, I'm going to make 3-team parlays. I'm going to make 3-team parlays. NFL Week 12 is going to be interesting. And I'm going to do a big one. I think the Panthers, Dolphins, and Cowboys are all underdogs. The Dolphins and the Panthers are big underdogs. So I'm going to go ahead and make a 3-team parlay with them. $25 is probably going to net me around $2,000. So if we win that one, $1,000 might be going to one of my followers. I want you to comment your Cash App tag name, but you don't have to, all right? We'll find a way to get you the money. Just have some sort of online wallet, Venmo, PayPal, whatever it is, especially if you have Bitcoin, Coinbase. I can just, we'll figure it out. So if we win one of these parlays and I decide to choose you as the winner for being my follower, we'll figure it out. I prefer Cash App, though. Cash App is the shit because you can do Bitcoin or you can just transfer money to one another. It's awesome. But, so we're going to do 3-team parlays. We'll get into that in a second. Now, Ben Askren retired. Back to MMA news. Ben Askren retired. I'm a big Ben Askren fan from one championship. And when he fought in Bellator, and just being in the same tournaments as him growing up, in college, when I wrestled in college, I wasn't nearly the caliber of wrestler that Ben Askren was, but, just watching him wrestle, being in the same tournaments, rubbing elbows with these guys before they were who they were. And, I didn't appreciate it at the time, cutting weight, wrestling the tournament, being in it myself. I was always just above 500 wrestler in college. I wasn't the greatest, but I wasn't the worst, I also didn't take it very seriously. But I was having a lot of fun in college. I lived in New York City, for God's sake. I lived in the city. But anyway, that's a different story. Ben Askren retired, 1-2 in the UFC, undefeated before that. Goddamn legend in any he should be in the Hall of Fame in one championship for sure. UFC, not so much. Had a weird run. It was towards the end of his career also, and you can tell that, hey, I'm gonna do this just to make a name for myself. I don't know how hard he trained. Didn't seem like he trained very hard, but this is a lesson, man. Like you can be a goddamn national champ in wrestling, and that won't mean shit to somebody who's been doing it for fucking 15 years, who's just been fighting. you know, and then at a professional level, at American top team like Jorge Masvidal's not. Didn't have any wrestling, practice, growing up. Ben Askren did. MMA is a different sport. It's not just wrestling. It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's not just striking. Obviously, it's mixed martial arts, but when you are so dominant in one point, one area of mixed martial arts, and you don't really work on the other aspects, you're going to have a tough time. You can't ride that wave of being the NCAA national champ. As much as I love, as much as I back my wrestlers and fights, I know Rogan even says it, that's the best base to have, but you got to work on other things. You got to work on your stand-up. You got to work on your jiu-jitsu and your jiu-jitsu defense and working on your guard. You just have to. Because a great striker, if he works on his wrestling defense for the next 2 years, guess what he just did? He took away your superpower and you have no strike, and he's going to piece you up. He or she's going to piece you up. So, listen, I train. I had a couple of fights. I've cornered a couple of fights. I know I'm not very popular or well known within the MMA community, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You got to work on all these disciplines. Just don't rely on your jiu-jitsu black belt. Don't rely on your I wrestled in college, so I'm good against the kickboxer. No, you're not. And it's safe to say you're not. Go into that camp knowing that you're not good. I'm going to rely on my wrestling until your wrestling doesn't work. And then what? Then you're a punching bag. So work on your striking, work on your jiu-jitsu, work on your wrestling, work on everything. Your camp should be work on everything, work on cardio, and then if you are going up against somebody who has a specialty in something, and they're really good with rear nakeds, and they're really good at getting your back and putting in that body triangle, then work on that defense. Have a plan, have a strategy. All right? Just don't be one-dimensional. Won't work anymore. I'm going to double leg him. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to mount him, beat the shit out of him. Yeah, that's going to work up until a certain point. And it might not work all the time, even en route to that certain point. Look at Aaron Pico. I don't know what it is that you have to have, but you got to have it. You got to have whatever it is that Myles Garrett had against Mason Rudolph, which, by the way, fucking Bush League. And I'm not talking about Myles Garrett. Listen, Mason Rudolph, that little fucking nerd. You want to start shit? Listen, man. He shouldn't be suspended, Garrett. He shouldn't be suspended for more than 2 games. You took the fucking guy's helmet off and he fucking swung at him and made contact. Mason Rudolph was acting like a little fucking bitch, a little entitled little prick, knowing that his offensive line was there to protect him. So he started bum rushing. And yeah, he got what he got. And he started the whole thing. Kicked him in the dick. Tried to twist off his fucking helmet to begin with. Yeah, Myles Garrett fucking finished it. So what? Hit him with the helmet. It was done. He gets a suspension for the rest of the year, and I don't think it's right. Mason Rudolph, nothing. Let's get Garrett back in. I want Garrett back in. That's what I want. Fucking bullshit. God damn it. Ben Askren retired. Myles Garrett is hitting people with his helmet. I was above 500 wrestler. Just above a 500 wrestler because I lived in New York City. Listen, if you haven't done so already, I need you all to go get HBO if you don't have HBO and watch The Deuce. Seasons 1, 2, and 3. And I'll tell you right now, if you're from New York, that I shed a tear. I'm not one to cry. I shed a fucking tear. That fucking series, man, it'll do something to you. I'm not a young buck. I'm not old. I'm not too old, but I'm not a young buck either. And I know and I've recognized the changes within New York City, especially Times Square, where I bartended when I was in college. And man, did that show fucking really hit home. You know, just all the changes in New York City. You know, in my line of work, not this fucking podcast, I don't get paid for this shit. Hopefully one day I do. But in my line of work, what I've seen and what I've experienced and the changes, just, man, that fucking hit home. That show, The Deuce, that series, that HBO series, The Deuce, season 1, 2, and 3. Well, especially if you're from New York and you have a little T on the J, that means time on the job in New York. If you're a New York City veteran, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Watch The Deuce, season 1, 2, and 3. I can't say, I think it's one of the more underrated miniseries. I don't even know if it's a miniseries. It's 3 seasons. Most underrated series on HBO. I don't think it gets enough credit. I don't think it gets enough credit at all. Jesus Christ. My God. Anyway, let's get right into the bets for Week 12 of the NFL, being that the UFC is going to take a 3-weeker off. A fucking nice 3-weeker for the UFC. Dana White needs to go on a little vacation, I guess, right? I got my notes here, people. I'm prepared every week. Every week I'm getting more and more prepared for you people. All right, so we're going to get right into it. Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins over the Cleveland Browns for Week 12. Right, this is going to be one of my 3-team parlays. I mentioned it before. It's going to be the Dolphins beating the Cleveland Browns. They're right now on mybookie.ag a plus 416 underdog. I'm going to do also, I said the Panthers, right? Where is that at? That's not going to happen. Here we go. But this is the parlay giveaway, baby. Listen, I got to go for the big underdogs. I need to make one big underdog parlay. I always do. There's no strategy behind it other than the money line and their underdogs, and it's just what I'm going to do. All right, I'm probably going to put $25 on them, right? So the Panthers going to beat the Saints? I don't think so. Goodness. All right, so the Panthers, Miami Dolphins, Panthers, and this is an interesting one. And I might put straight up money on this one. The Cowboys to beat the Patriots. They have a shot. I mean, it's at New England. They're plus 215 underdogs. The Cowboys. And I might put straight up money on them. We'll see, but I'm definitely gonna put put them in the parlay. So Panthers, Dolphins, Cowboys, $25 team, $25 parlay bet will net me around close to $2,000 right now. My bet slip is saying 1,960. So I'm gonna round it off to a cool 1,000, and that's just one. That's just one parlay bet. I'm gonna make 2 other parlay bets, so I'm going to have 3-team parlay bets. So if all 3 bets win, I'm going to have 3 winners for Week 12. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Comment your Cash App tag name or comment whatever it is that you want to comment. And follow me on Instagram, Parlay Giveaway. Don't forget to do that. It's every week I'm getting 2, 3, 4. I think this week I got 6 more followers. And listen, if you can tell your friends about it, the bigger this channel gets, the bigger the prizes already. See, I'm starting out with 1 parlay a week, and now we're up to 3 parlay bets a weekend, you know? And now if we had the UFC, we would be up to 4 or 5 parlay bets. We're just increasing our chances to make some money. You get to hear my take on some bets. Like you just heard me say, the Dallas Cowboys are plus 215 underdogs, and I think they have a real shot in beating the Patriots. Listen, I'm a Giants fan, and I'm telling you the Cowboys have a real shot at beating the Patriots. With Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, that offense, I think they can do it. They're definitely not plus 215 underdogs. So I think I might put a straight up bet for myself on that one. I don't know. But that would be the bet to make for me. Them and the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are plus 145. are going up against the San Francisco 49ers. So I think they can get that done also. Again, that's at San Francisco. That would be a little bit more of a tough one, but I do see Dallas coming into Gillette Stadium and doing the damn thing. But that's one of my parlays. That's one of my parlays. I'm going to do two more. I'm going to do two more parlays for a total of 3 parlays. Three-team parlays, right? I already told you of one. I'm going to spread them out throughout the week. Comment your Cash App tag name or just comment anything in the comment section below here or on my Instagram. I'm going to put all you guys together, and if we win, one of you guys will win. All right, we're in it together, people. We're in it together. I hope you have a good week. No UFC for the next 3 weeks, so we're going to fuck around with the NFL. Maybe next week we do NFL and NBA. Huh? I've been paying attention a little bit to the NBA, right? I can't fucks with college football, though. I cannot do college football. I get angry. College football makes me mad. It makes me mad. But so does the NFL. The NFL makes me mad. But we're blowing up here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is a marathon. This ain't a sprint. This is a marathon. I'm not going anywhere. I got my setup already. I got my gray wall, which I'm thinking about getting a wood backdrop for my studio here. But I'm not going anywhere. So every week I'll be here for you. I'm going to be talking sports. I'm going to be talking about some bets. I'm going to talk about The Deuce a little bit more because that was a fucking great HBO series and you better go watch it. That's my time here. I'm Joe Cortez. This was the Parlay Giveaway. Have a great week. I'm out.